Going good. My name is Jeffrey Watumull. My job, my profession can be described specifically and generally. On the former, I am the Director of Artificial Intelligence at Oceanet. On the latter, I am the CPO, the Chief Philosophy Officer. As the Director of AI, I formulate and expound the theory of anthronoetic artificial intelligence, human level, human style AI that we are pursuing at Oceanet. The quest is for artificial general intelligence. As the CPO, the Chief Philosophy Officer, I subsume the AI work and all our scientific work in a philosophical theory. Philosophy can be defined as rational inquiry into how things in the most general sense hang together in the most general sense. Hence, as the CPO, I explain the epistemology and the ontology of our work. That is, I seek to explain how we create knowledge and what is the nature of that in the world which we know. And a typical day in this life, like my fictional alter ego Sherlock Holmes said, I crave for mental exaltation. So I rise at dawn and immediately engage the intellect with reading everything from technical papers to philosophical treatises to novels to the news. Or I write, generally in the form of squibs, these relatively brief essays describing and explaining some technical or philosophical aspect of our work and the world. Or I work at my chalkboard, old school, my external mind. Or I engage in dialogue and debates with my colleagues. I may have meetings, Zoom meetings now, with colleagues, or I may need to present on Zoom to customers. All of this I do from the early morning to the late afternoon, and then I go for an intensely rigorous bike ride. Um, I was on the cycling team in college and graduate school and have continued that practice. Cycling is my sport because it is an intense workout which optimizes my physiology, which is necessary for a life of the mind, and because it is sufficiently automatic and monotonous such that I can think whilst engage in it or listen to audiobooks and podcasts. When that is finished, I return home and transcribe what I thought about on the ride, either onto the chalkboard or into a squib. Uh, and I may then pour a glass of vino, a glass of wine, and engage in a symposium or a Zoomposium with friends and colleagues to discuss life, the universe, and everything. Debate, intellectual fencing. So I then may watch some aesthetically interesting cinema or television whilst I dine, or I might read. And then I resume work on squibs or whatever, eventually drifting off into dreamland. The best part of this job, so Socrates said that the unexamined life, the philosophical life, is not worth living. So the best part of my job is that it empowers me to be philosophical, to examine life, the universe, and everything, and then to transmute that abstract philosophy into concrete technology, which is effectively to experimentally test my theories. And so I can thereby attain mental exaltation, in Holmes's words. My advice for anyone who wants to pursue this career, unsurprisingly, I would insist on reading the classics, the great works of philosophy, science, literature, watching great films, and engaging in arguments. And note that arguments can be distinguished from quarrels. Arguments are rational conjectures and criticisms of ideas, not petty disputes with persons, but engagement with ideas, conjecturing and criticizing ideas. Hence, I would insist anyone that I would insist one to play the devil's advocate whenever possible, in your own mind or with friends and family. Question everything. Nothing is sacred, so as to understand what is true and why. Finally, what credentials did I need to obtain this job? I never applied for a job for this job, um, but by a series of accidents beginning at a jazz concert, I was engaged in numerous conversations, philosophical debates with Oceanet executives uh, who were sufficiently audacious or mad to gamble on the ideas of this presumptuous and mad philosopher, that these ideas might catalyze it into new ideas and products at Oceanet. So there were no required credentials, but I have always lived the life of the mind, nerd, geek, scholar, and so academia was my Platonic heaven, my Valhalla. Indeed, the reason I joined Oceanet was that it is the perfect consilience of the nobility of academia with the dynamism of a startup, so as to concretize my abstract philosophy. So I majored in mathematics and evolutionary biology in college. The elegant simplicity of mathematics and the sophisticated complexity of biology unified nature in my mind. I then pursued a master's degree, or an MPhil, as we say in England, in linguistics and philosophy. Linguistics because it combined mathematics and evolutionary biology in understanding that the mathematical properties of linguistic cognition constituted the evolutionary uniqueness and power of our species. And then I proceeded to a PhD in linguistics and philosophy. I intended to remain in Plato's heaven and academia, as I said, but there was a swerve, as they say, in the universe, and I arrived at my current position, and merrily, merrily, merrily. And with that, may the force be with you, and live long and prosper.